Hey, everybody, welcome back to this live episode of Think Sales with Jeff Gunsberg and myself. We're looking forward to talking with Paul Rogers. He is the owner of socialvideostudios.com, a subscription-based full-service video production company that specializes in making consistent video content that drives revenue for his clients. I can't think of a more relevant topic to talk about when we talk about sales with salespeople or just driving sales and traffic to pretty much anything than the power of video. 80% of everything viewed online is video, and YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world, owned, I think, by Google. So this is so Paul, welcome to the show. Let's kick off and talk about let's start fundamentally on the power of video.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I think, like you just read there, I even read a statistic the other day that 75% of everybody who goes online every single day hits YouTube at least once that day. And so in the past, we've had blogs and we've had Facebook pages and things like that, and we've had written content for years. But today, everybody searches companies by video. So anytime we hear of a product or a different company, we almost always go to YouTube or we Google it. And then the first thing we want to watch is there a video about what they offer? And how is it going to make my life better, right? So if we get videos on how awesome their company is or their story, whatever, we don't care about that. No one cares about that. And so everybody's online, everybody's hitting YouTube or some sort of video platform, and they're wanting to know how can you make my life better? How can your company or whatever you're offering make me survive and thrive? If they can't figure that out in the first few seconds, they're going to skip. I think the average view time for any YouTube video is 3 seconds. And so I think that people just need to realize that if they don't have video out online, they're probably not going to get found. And then if they do have video online and they're not uploading consistent video, kind of keeping up with what they're doing as a company and how they can continue to offer you, valuable content, then they're also not going to get found because it requires a lot of saturation of the market with video, whether you're running video ads or you have a YouTube channel that you're keeping consistent so that people can come back. And I think a lot of times too, business is very much of a nurture campaign. So you're not just splashing up a video and getting business. That just doesn't work. It doesn't happen like that. You're putting up tons of videos, tons of ads, and over time, people are convinced that whatever you're offering is what they need. And sometimes, they may think what you're offering is great, and they may get hit with a lot of other content with other companies, and they're offering something similar, and they may go with them because that's who's in their brain, right? Yeah. And that happens all the time.
Yeah. So do you, as far as, so you say the average view time is like 3 seconds. Obviously, someone's got to find whatever you're putting out there needs to attract, somebody. What do you, as far as content is concerned, in video, what's the length of time that somebody should be, putting a video out there for?
I think it depends
can actually look at. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think it depends on what type of video. So, obviously there's different types of ads that you can run on YouTube. You can run like a 30-second bumper ad that goes on the front that can't be skipped. But then they have these other types of videos where, and you've seen these, the kind that will run for 30 seconds and you can skip them. So I think the kind of content that needs to be put up, it's different. If you're going to run a product ad, that's going to be different than if you're going to run some sort of value proposition for a company. And I think the value proposition for smaller companies like us, if we're not Bud Light, we're not going to run these crazy great ads that are going to cost millions of dollars. So I think that the best type of video to run is a 6-minute video at the very least and 10 minutes at the very most. They're finding that gets the most traction on YouTube. And I think that if you're going to run a video like that, you have to give a video that offers a lot of value to that viewer. If it doesn't start to offer value in the first 30 seconds, people click off because no one cares about us, right? No one cares about you in particular. They care about how they're going to survive and how they're going to thrive in this world. And so I think the best kind of video is a 6 to 10 minute video that offers value to your clients, but also kind of pulls them in. And we've all heard, tell them what, not how. And so I think if you can tell them, what it is that's going to bring their company value, and the how is them hiring you, right? And so, but they're never going to get to that point unless they can watch a 6-minute video and say, wow, if I could just implement that, then that'll really grow my company.
Let's talk about the difference between video on YouTube versus Facebook and LinkedIn. I think there's different times. I think sometimes people go to YouTube to actually watch a longer video, but when you're talking about Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, those are I think, I may be wrong, different types of videos, right? I don't know if someone's going on Facebook to watch a 6-minute video. So can you kind of dissect each of the platforms?
Yeah. So one of our clients that we work for, we'll run Facebook ads, and these ads are about 6 minutes long. It's a value proposition, but really what it is, it's a top of funnel way to get people to click into a program. So we'll run a Facebook ad that gives a lot of value in the first 30 seconds, but they can continue watching it. But the whole purpose of it is for them to click into like maybe a little mini series. And then on Instagram, it's really interesting because we'll take a lot of our content, and this is kind of the Gary Vaynerchuk approach. If you shoot a lot of content, then take that content and cut it down into itty bitty sections so that you can use those as 10-second ads inside Instagram, right? And you're going to run those in 4x5 or 9x16. You're not going to run them in 16x9 because on Instagram and on LinkedIn and sometimes Facebook, you want to take up as much of that page in that video as possible, so there's not distracting content on either end. So I think that the size in Facebook is going to be 4x5, and it runs so there's very little content at the bottom, very little content at the top to distract that viewer, because they can just scroll, right? They can scroll past it, and it's going to be short form content, a lot of it. But sometimes it can be long form, like especially on Facebook and LinkedIn, it could be long form content that draws people in. So I think Instagram, I don't think you're ever going to run long form. Maybe on IGTV, but I don't find myself on IGTV looking for long form content.
Yeah.
And so I think you're right there. So yeah, another thing we'll do, John, is we'll run kind of a grabber ad or a grabber ad on LinkedIn or Facebook, and then that if they give us their email, we'll take them to they'll get a daily video for 3 days. So it's a 3-part series that they can get, but they have to give us their email first. So we'll kind of give them some basic information on that free video, and then they'll give us their email, and then for the next 3 days, we'll feed them video content. And if they don't buy after that 3 days, then they go into a nurture campaign where they'll start getting emails for the next however until they unsubscribe. But that's just so that we can stay in front of their brain, long term while we're waiting for them to be ready for us.
Love it.
I don't know if that answered your question. Maybe
no, it did.
Just comment. I think a series is great, right? Like having a series, to draw somebody back in. Like, if it's something that you can catch them with, to let them know, tune in, to hear the rest of this 3-part series. I think, that seems like something to really draw people in.
Yeah, I think on that topic, real quick, I was going to say that's the series. However you do it, whether it's professionally shot or not, is a really great way to buy someone's email.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the point of those.
Which I just want to comment on that, Jeff. I just have one comment. I just want to comment on the importance of building your email database, right? I mean, your, Facebook and all the social platforms that we're talking about are great, but it's really important to extract the emails because your email list you actually own.
Yes, and it has a much higher response rate than any other platform out there.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, so I had a different question, but can you explain a little like how how that works? Like how somebody would kind of go about that? Like in regards to, you know, this email list and obtaining email list and information that you get, you know, just elaborate a little bit on what you guys were just discussing.
So I mean, as far as we go, we create the content. I think you could run it through some sort of funnel. I think is the best way to do it, right? That's the way you're going to capture people's emails and what we do is you come to us, we'll shoot the initial video that will go out, the ad, then that'll lead them to a top of funnel page, like landing page, where they'll sign up for the series. They'll put in their email address. Sometimes we'll ask for a little bit more information than that, but for right now, they'll put in their email address, and then we'll say, great, over the next 3 days, we're going to be sending you a video every day that's going to tell you this, this, and this. And the first 2 videos are kind of really valuable information. The last video is going to be more of a CTA, a call to action, where you're kind of trying to get them to commit to doing something with your company. And then once that's finished, sometimes we'll give them a longer form list to fill out. So now we want to pre-qualify them for whatever we're wanting them to do, right? Before, we don't really care who they are. We just want them to download the series. Now we kind of want to know, who are you? And we kind of learned this process, honestly, from and a guy who's really good at it is Donald Miller. He has a lot of YouTube content that's free, but then if you want to know something specific that he's offering, he'll make you sign up for give him his email, and then he'll send you a little series. And then he kind of wants to know who you are. Are you the owner of, like the Marriott, or are you just a small business owner? If you're a small business owner, they'll run you through a funnel where they know they can kind of get money on the small scale. If you're the owner of the Marriott, then Donald Miller is going to want to come in personally and do some coaching for you.
Right.
So they kind of try and figure that out ahead of time. And then once you fill out that information, it goes to their sales guys, and they say, okay, we got, we know where you're qualified in our categories here. And now we know how to approach you and how to work with you. And if you decide not to work with them, they're really great about sending you valuable content every week so that when you are ready, the only person you can think of is Donald Miller. You just can't think of anybody else. And so that's kind of how we encourage our clients to do it as well.
So I want to talk about, go deeper into a little bit about what you do. You guys are a one-stop shop for creating, one of my favorite words, consistent social videos that drive revenue. And I think a lot of times people look at stuff like this and they look at the expense of it, but they're not looking at the return on investment. They're not looking at the cost of what it gets, of a client, the lifetime value of that client. And so talk a little bit about what consistency means, and talk about what clients of yours are seeing as it relates to a return on their investment.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think consistency in anything is really critical. And I learned that we started a small product company, and it was really hard. And we were very inconsistent with posting online and stuff like that. So I started doing a lot of research. Consistency, sometimes people get excited about a product. So this was us. We got excited about this product, and we'd post every single day for 5 days and then nothing for 3 months. And that seems to be a lot of people. And so as the more reading research I did, consistency, it's not about how often you post. It's about being consistent whenever you post. So if you're going to post every day, make sure you post every day 8 o'clock, so that you're basically training your viewers. When can I see new content from this creator? And so if you're going to post a daily video, then make sure you post it at the exact same time every single day. If you're going to post a weekly video, make sure you post it on the same day every single week at the same time. If you're going to post a monthly video, which is great, there's these YouTube creators out there that post monthly videos and make millions of dollars. I think Dude Perfect's one of them. I think they do one a month. There's some other guys, some science guys. They only do one video a month, and they literally make millions of dollars on that one video. But it's because they've trained all their YouTube subscribers and viewers that every single, once a month on the first day of the month, I post a new video. So everybody knows when to anticipate it, when to come back and look for it. If you're just posting randomly out to the world, no one's going to know when or where or anything. So I think you have to train your viewership that here's when I post. And then I think you're going to start to grow that base. If you're random and all over the place, that base is going to get confused. They probably won't come back. So that's one thing as far as consistency goes. I also think that the market's always changing, right? I mean, we're always, there's always new things. People are getting elected, new presidents are coming in, new policies are being pushed, new ideas are coming out. And so I think maintaining the relevancy of where your clients are at and what you're offering them in relation to what's happening in the world is really important. Otherwise, people are going to kind of see you as outdated. If I get on YouTube and you have a video from 4 years ago talking about how to grow your company, I'll probably skip it. And so a lot of times, even when I go to YouTube for things, I want to see when did they post. And a lot of times I'll filter it by the week. I'll say, what came out this week? How relevant is this? And if it's not relevant, then I kind of feel like it's a bygone, idea.
Do you you were referencing, as far as consistency is concerned, and giving the audience the knowledge of that you're going to be hitting at the same time, same day, and they know when to expect it. Are there certain times and certain days of the week that are better than others?
Yeah, I think there are. I honestly couldn't talk to you specifically and give you accurate information on that. I think it just depends on, who your clientele is. So if it's like a business person, it might be Monday mornings. If it's people that just sit on their couch and are buying products, it might be different time. I don't know. So I think you'd have to research your target market probably.
Right. Yeah, I just was kind of.
Where does somebody get started, Paul? I mean, I've been doing video for a long time. I've been doing, I think I'm at, live almost close to 850 podcasts. I've recorded, probably over 1,100. And I finally got connected to you to work with me on my lighting. So we're in the process of over the last 2 weeks trying to figure it out, and just talking more strategy and things of that nature. But where do people get started? Because I think this is, you're talking about big brands and YouTube and $1 million, overnight, $1 million, groups. But I think where people get frozen is what's the first step, right? What's the first thing they should do? And then after you answer that question, what type of equipment should they get where it doesn't cost them an arm and a leg and they can kind of, slowly get into it?
Yeah, so getting started is awesome. I feel like everybody wants to have the best equipment, the best lighting, the best content, and then they'll never get started.
Correct. Yeah.
And so, and that was even, it's us, it's everybody. And I ran into a guy at a coffee shop. I love working from coffee shops, and I'm a talker.
I do too. I miss it.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So I ran into this guy, and he sells, business insurance. And he came to me and said, I want to start doing some video. What's it going to cost to come into your studio? And it was outrageous. And he's like, I could never afford that. And I said, yeah, you know what? Honestly, it doesn't even matter. And he a real fit guy. And I said, what do you do? And he's like, I love running. I run marathons and I run every day. I said, you know what you should do? I said, you talk about health and wellness, and you're offering, health insurance to companies. I said, when you're on your run, just grab your phone and just tell me something interesting. Just tell me anything that's interesting about your company and just start it. Just throw it on LinkedIn and see what happens. He grew to I think 86 constant viewers every day just in a few weeks. It was incredible. And now he puts up consistent videos on his LinkedIn page all the time. People love it. And he just started, and he's like, my son, who was in high school, I think at the time, he's like, he has this video class. Maybe he could edit my videos. I said, absolutely. It doesn't need to be perfect. And I think Bill Gates said, if you wait for your product to be perfect, you'll never push it. And one of the guys that I've learned from forever, and you interviewed him, John, David J.
Oh yeah.
He is the king of pushing. He pushes products that are really great, but they're maybe not 100% perfect. But people don't care. They know a product's going to get better, and his products always do get better. So he'll get early adopters that come in, and they'll buy his products, and he'll make them better and better and better, and they become amazing. But he doesn't wait 100 years to release a product, and he's really, really innovative about that.
So I want to talk about David J for a second. I had him on the show. He's the CEO of a company called Warm Welcome. I bought his products. And every time I had a question, I'm in the process of implementing it into my website. It's basically video that pops up on every page. It's brilliant. And he would say, oh, I don't know. I don't have the answer to that, but I'll figure it out. And then he would meet with his tech team and figure it out. Yeah. But great products. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I think he runs six companies, very successful guy. I think all of his products are just absolutely amazing. Mainly, they mainly service the photography industry. But he just, ever since 2008, when I started working for him, he's just been pushing products like crazy, and he's very successful at it.
Yeah, he's great. Warmwelcome.com. Great company.
So where to get started with gear? I think you can start anywhere with gear. It doesn't really matter. I think a great place to start, and something we all have, is we all have our iPhones, right? And so I think that's a really, really great camera to start with, especially with the newer iPhones. They're really amazing. And I think the best thing to do is just start putting content up, right? The great thing about small brands, I learned this, if you guys haven't read the book, it's called Shoe Dog by Phil Knight, the owner of Nike. Amazing book. Really inspiring book just when it comes to small business and starting a company. But where was I going with that? Oh, he was talking about how small brands can change with very little impact, right? So when you first start your video, or if you start a company and you're a small company, you're not making a lot of money, you can just post videos. You can just post videos and see if people grab on. If they don't grab on, change your tune, change what you're talking about. But always remember, you want to give content that's valuable to people. Don't talk about yourself. No one cares about you. It's like completely overrated. But the other thing is, don't be afraid of making a mistake, because you can change your brand. You're not a $1 billion Nike where you're going to say something wrong and get sued. No one cares. And so if you say something that's a little off and you're like, well, it wasn't really right, you can come back the next day and be like, yeah, everybody, I told you this and it's actually wrong. Doesn't matter.
I love it. Yeah. So, don't be afraid and have courage. I love it. Yeah.
Just get out there and do it. And you're not going to be able to afford us or, a professional video production company for a while. It doesn't matter. And you also have to keep in mind, who is my target market? We always talk about that. Everybody talks about that. Who's your target market? It really is critical. And I think the other critical thing, and I think one of the reasons David J was so successful, is he really understood who his target was, right? He wasn't after the entire world. And there's tons of money in the niches. And so if you just, a lot of people just, in reality, their saturation point might be 10 customers. I know ours is for each studio. Our saturation point is 10 clients that are, $10 million client that can spend $500,000 a year on marketing. And we only get a section of that because, like some of our clients are spending $30,000 to $100,000 a month on Facebook advertising from the videos that we make. So we kind of know our target, and we know that in order to create consistent videos and push consistent videos, you need to be in this sort of range to be able to afford what it's going to cost for you to advertise online like that. So otherwise, you can do it yourself, and you can just do your own paid ads, and they're going to be great. I'm taking a series right now, by this company called, oh man, these guys are great. Let me see if I can find it real quick. But anyway, so my point is, I'll find that in a second. But my point is, start with your iPhone. Start with anything and just get content out. And as you start to get a following, guess what? Grab a camera, get a light, whatever.
Right.
It doesn't really matter. You can do it from your car. Yeah.
It's interesting too, because like with an iPhone, I mean, I've done this. I think somebody doing it with their iPhone when they first start, it's awkward, right? Like you're filming yourself. It's just weird, right? Like it happens to you. But one of the best things about it, before you post it, any video that I've ever posted there's 10 of them in my, 10 bad ones that I didn't end up posting that, you just go through and you do takes and you start to get comfortable with it. So that's a great point.
Well, and I'll tell you this too, Jeff, I'm taking a series right now. It's $10,000 to buy it. Well, it's 900. Yeah, it's a lot of money. It's $10,000.
$9,999.
That's exactly what it is.
Give it 10,000, give or take $5.
Yeah, and it's exactly what it is. And the guy looks like he shot this thing on his iPhone. I mean, it looks terrible, like just the worst video. But the information he's giving me is so valuable, right? I mean, I can't get this information. I don't care. That's exactly it. So I think it really just depends on. I think the better your information, the less great your video has to look.
Yeah, that's well said.
Right. Yeah,
that's a good thing. That's a good thing to end on to move into the speed round, because we're talking about video, we're talking about production, but at the end of the day, you must have the content. Because content is king. If you can produce consistent content, that's great. I think that's why like live podcasting is great, right? Because there's no script. Jeff and I are able to bring content not only in questions, but in commentary and discussions. We bring in guests who bring in real-time content. I mean, content is king. All right, Paul, quick speed round. You ready?
Yep.
All right. Finish this sentence. The number one thing that everybody needs to do today to start their first video is?
Post it. I'm serious. I think people they wait too long. Just put it up.
Right. Post it. I'm going to challenge everybody to do at least one posting in the next 48 hours of a video with content that's under a minute.
Yeah.
Right. Don't procrastinate. Don't procrastinate. Favorite sales book and why?
Oh my goodness. These two books.
He has it right there. Paul is prepared
today. These are the two best books
it has no title.
As a company. They're by Donald Miller. The first one's called, you got to read them in order. First one's called Building Your Story Brand by Donald Miller. Absolutely the most incredible book that'll change your business forever. And I'm not just saying that, it really will. I introduced it to David J, and he posted a video later, and he's like, I feel like I've been in kindergarten for 20 years. He's like, this is amazing.
What's it called? Building Your Story Brand?
Yeah, Building Your Story. Well, I don't know if you can see that. Building Your Story Brand by Donald Miller.
Okay. And
in it, it talks about it talks about a lot of really good stuff. I'll let you get into that. Then the second book he wrote is Marketing Made Simple. And he co-wrote it with another author whose name I don't know. So
I just read that book. I just read Marketing Made Simple. I thought it was brilliant. I loved it. And I just bought Per You, this book, Business Made Simple.
I haven't got that one yet, but I'm going to grab it.
I mean, is Donald Miller sponsoring this? I have this book, you know.
Oh, man. I buy more books. I've probably bought, 10 of these books for clients that we have. They'll run into a client, we'll just send them these books because they're amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, we're recording this. We could post it. And now, we're going to post it. Now it's an ad for him.
But I want to talk about Marketing Made Simple. I read it. I have a private Facebook group. The minute I read it, that meets every Monday from 4:30 to 5:30, focusing on sales and business development. But I posted it on there. I love the book. It's a very simple approach to marketing. And then after you and I talked, Paul, I actually ordered it because you're like, you got to buy this book. And I realized I'd already read it. I thought it was a different book. So I just got this like yesterday or 2 days ago, and I can't wait to read it.
So the great thing, real quick, John, John's book is Business Made Simple by the same author, Donald Miller. You also, for the viewers, you should also check out Donald Miller's YouTube channel. Absolutely incredible. Worth every minute you're going to spend there. It's worth it. The great thing about buying the physical copies is that he has little worksheets in there that you can kind of work through, and it's something you can see and underline. So I would highly recommend the audiobooks, but also the physical books so that you can go through and you can actually fill out stuff for your own company.
Yeah. All right, good. Last question. The best piece of wisdom a mentor ever gave you?
You know, I don't think David J made this up, but he would always tell me, he said, if you make your business about helping other people, you'll never run out of work. Yeah. And I think that's always true. I think a lot of people, their businesses fail because they're so focused on themselves and they want everybody to know their backstory and how they got there and the gear they use. When we pitch to companies, I don't talk about our gear. I don't talk about our backstory. I don't talk about how awesome I am. They barely know who I am. All I talk about is how we're going to create content that's going to grow revenue for their company. That's it. Yeah. And these are big brands that we just got done working for a hospital, and they're hurting right now with COVID. People are scared to come in. Yeah. And so we talked to them through on how we're going to get people to be confident in the hospital again. And that's all we talked about. And they hired us. And so I don't talk about yourself. Talk about you, and don't even think about yourself. Really think about, if I'm going to serve a client, how am I going to make them money? How am I going to make them survive and thrive? If you can do that, you'll get hired by anybody. Yeah.
I actually have one last question. On a scale from 1 to 10, how important is video for any person doing sales? 10 being 10. The highest.
10. I mean, you can't sell without it.
Well, right.
12.
Right. All right. I love it. I love it. All right. Paul, you've been great. I'm so glad David J introduced us. You've been a huge help with me as we kind of work on my camera, my videos, my lighting, and things of that nature, and strategy. Tell everybody how they can connect with you, get a hold of you, and who your ideal clients are.
Yeah, you can guys get a hold of us at our website, socialvideostudios.com. You can sign up for a consultation session. Our ideal client is, it's really, I wouldn't say it's anybody. I hate saying it's anybody, but really the people that we work with mainly are $10 million plus companies that have $500,000 in ad budget or marketing budget. And about $100,000 of that per year is going to go towards actually creating those videos. And the $400,000 is going to go to advertising those videos. So that's kind of our ideal client. One of the things that we've been thinking about, John, just since we've been talking to you, is putting together a gear package, and then also kind of a little series on how to run more professional Zoom calls or whatever. I think that would help a lot of people, and I think it would help them just kind of get into the mode of recording their own stuff on a little bit more professional level than just grabbing their iPhone. Yeah. But definitely don't wait to that point to start posting videos. You can do that today.
I love it. I love it. All right. Socialvideostudios.com. Paul Rogers, it's been great. Appreciate you enlightening all the salespeople and all business people in the world on the importance of video and just getting out there and leaving your ego at the door, right? Yeah. You're not going to love the way you look. You're not used to, you're used to being at meetings where you're not looking in a mirror where you can see how you look. So that was one of the best pieces of advice I ever got, is leave your ego at the door. Yeah. In my video, my ears look bigger, my nose looks bigger, I have less hair. It's like, I don't understand it. but the important part is going back to providing content and value to others so we can all help more people do and be better. So absolutely. I appreciate you being on the show. Thank you very much. Jeff, I'll let you close it up.
Yeah, you know what, Paul, thank you so much for being on too. And I think that what you do is, especially in these times, is just so relevant, and there's so much value to it. And how you talk about just getting started. I mean, and John put that challenge out there. Everybody listening, if you're thinking about doing something, you're thinking about posting, you're thinking about getting yourself out there, just do it. And yep. It's such a simple thing to do, and thank you both for bringing that up. And lastly, Paul, how you talk about what you do and thinking about helping others. Anybody who is in sales, if you think that way and you enjoy and you love what you do, and you talk to people in a sincere way about how you can specifically help them, you're right. I mean, you'll have business for years, and most importantly, you'll be fulfilled in what you do, and it's just awesome to help people. So I really appreciate you saying that, and thanks so much for being on the show, and look forward to speaking to you after.
Do it in video.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. It was a blast.
Listen, right, your video quality is unbelievable. I mean, and right. John, you're talking about how you look. I mean, the two of us together look like, next to Paul's video quality. Right. Who can compare? Come on.
But I'm close. On the phone.
John's close. He's going to be there.
I've been working with Paul for 8 hours.
I know.
You should see the equipment I have. It's like,
I know. Well, now here's the problem, John. Now it's going to be every week that I'm going to look terrible and you're going to look amazing. I have to be in now too. Now I got to be in.
Well, you're going to have to get a studio for your office. You're going to have to get a studio for your office and your car. So
yeah. That's a good idea. Guys. Car studios. All right, I love it.
Stay on for just a minute. Thanks, guys. Paul, appreciate your time.
Thanks. All right, talk to you later, John.